this is Hervé from Comic Book Bin, filling you in since 2002. So today, let's talk about the G.I. Joe Classified exclusive Chuckle action figure that's coming up very soon. It's a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I don't even think I'll be able to get it unless Hasbro has more stock after San Diego Con, or if, as usual, GameStop Canada stock it and sells it to Canadian buyers. That's probably the only way I'm going to get this figure. I used to have a Chuckle as a kid. I liked it. Another figure that I would like to get also is the Hawaiian Condor from Valaverse Action Force, but that's a different topic. I'll come back to that. So Chuckle was announced last year by the G.I. Joe Classified team, and he comes in a deluxe set with an alternative head where he's been beat up after facing Cobra goons, medical, suitcase, weapons, you name it, he's got them. It's fun that the Daniel Craig, James Bond borrowed Chuckles look decades ago, made it viable, whereas the original character kind of looked goofy. I think the G.I. Joe version still looks goofy, but it works. The packaging on this set is incredible. It borrows artwork that you would see from Nightwing with the multi-panel adventure all in one. Well, I say Nightwing, but Frank Miller did the same with Daredevil. And of course, the first character in comics besides Lil Nemo to have multi-panel artwork in a strip was Johnny Quick in the 1940s. Now, this character reminds me a lot of Logan Paul. Some people don't like the face, but it's only when I realized that it was actually modeled after Logan Paul that I accepted it. I'm not a fan of Logan Paul, but it fits the character to look like Logan Paul. He kind of has some of his personality, a lot of bravado. The main packaging cover with their old radio look, and on the corner, the tiny Crimson Command, the Baroness and the Crimson Twin, angry at Chuckle after having beaten him up as he escaped. It's a really cool look. Like I mentioned, the multiple appearance in several panels within one strip is a feature developed by cartoonist Adriano Lucas in the pages of Nightwing. It's a different type of composition from artist David Aja in the pages of Hawkeye, where in his pages he reuses several elements, but it's not one single composition that goes from frame to frame to frame within the same panel. Again, Adriano Lucas is using a technique that was first created by Winsor McKay in Little Nemo in Slumberland over a century ago. Yet it's a beautiful technique, and I like that it's used in this comic page for an action figure. It really ties in the comic and the action figure aspect of G.I. Joe, and the fact that the best representation of the character has always been in the comics. The feature we had in the G.I. Joe movie gave us a Chuckle that was a big brute, nothing else. He didn't even speak. I've done something similar several times in my Johnny Bullet comic strip. If I have a criticism about this page, is that for obvious reason they only gave color to Chuckle. They put everything in gray, so to put the attention on him as the character that's in the box and nothing else. It makes it clear that you're not going to get any other Crimson Bats that are featured here, and obviously the Coconut Palm Hotel, which looks like something out of Cuba, is not going to be included either. But I really like this page. Out of all of the packaging, this is the best. If you look at the inside cover, you'll find that Chuckle is holding some files on the newly released Crimson Bats. There's a helicopter which I do not recognize with a ladder, maybe to rescue him. I don't know what this is, but it looks interesting. There's a case with gold nuggets and obviously a laptop integrated in that suitcase, which shows the picture of the Crimson Command being pissed at Chuckle. This Chuckle features the beat up head. In some of the image, he doesn't have a missing tooth, just a chipped tooth. I'm hoping that the Hawaiian bandana is very soft and rubbery as opposed to more solid plastic. I don't know if you can store some of the extra equipment inside the suitcase, but that would be cool. One thing that is important for the backdrop of this figure is that it's the same Miami Beach like town that was seen in some of the original G.I. Joe comics way back. In the comics, Chuckles was introduced in G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 60 along with Falcon and a few other characters, and they were like a counter G.I. Joe team created by another organization, and they tried to kidnap General Hawk. When they figured out that they were not part of the real G.I. Joe team, they tried to help Hawk. Inside some of those towers were a bunch of ballistic missiles that they were protecting. So it seems to me that backdrop also features or calls back to that issue where Chuckles was introduced along with a lot of the 1987 Joes. Of note, later Cobra bought the property entire development and called it Broker Beach, which was a place where they were set up their undercover activities. I really like when the packaging art calls back to events from the history of the characters. We saw that with Dr. Mindbender and Serpentor. This is the same thing that's happening here. Also with Zartan, we saw that, where they really deep really go deep inside the history of the characters, both from the cartoons and the comics, and show you a lot of things that express who they are. That's really clever. One element that's interesting is that some of the equipment that Chuckle comes with is a mini tape deck, which is really Soundwave. It would be fun if it could transform as a real Soundwave, but it does not here. Is he going to be bigger, shorter? In the comics and in the cartoon, Chuckle was a big guy. He appears to be the average height here, like Duke. I don't know. We'll see. So the set comes with alternate hands that he can use to kick some bats and a lot of other stuff. Some of it seems that it can peg on his back. There's 2 spots on his back where you could probably peg some of those. We'll see in the end where all of this stuff goes. It's gonna be fun. I wish this figure was available widely for all collectors. Chuckle is not a minor character. He's a well-known character. He's an original character too. It's too bad that some of us may not be able to get him in this version, and they might release him later, but with much less equipment. I wish everybody could get this version of Chuckle. He's a fun one. I also have to mention Condor, the Hawaiian Condor from Battleverse, which also looks the same. Now I know there's a lot of discussion about whether Bobby Vala copied Chuckles or if he copied James Bond. He says that he copied James Bond, but come on, we're talking about Chuckles and G.I. Joe and Action Force. Of course, the Hawaiian Condor drew inspiration from Chuckles, regardless of the fact that its creator says that he was really inspired by the 2006 James Bond. Condor is Chuckles, but that's okay. It's a cool figure too. I actually want both. I don't have enough Action Force points, so I don't know if I'll ever get it, even if I buy new figures. By the time I get those new figures, maybe I'll run out of Hawaiian Condor. I think both of them would be good together. Some people have suggested that they should have a TV show with the 2 of them, where Chuckle is the more humoristic, the comedy element, and Condor would be the straight man. If there ever was a crossover with G.I. Joe and Action Force, this could be the basis of it. I don't think that will happen anytime soon, but who knows. I think Condor is a great looking character. He comes with much less stuff. Most of the parts are reused from previous Battleverse parts from Action Force, but it doesn't matter. It's still a cool looking figure that's worth getting also. So this is all I had to say. This is V from Comic Book Bin, filling in since 2002. Like and subscribe.